Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you've been here before and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We'd like to get to 7,000. We're very, very close. Also, turn on the notification bell so you're alerted when I drop a video, because right now we're on trade deadline watch. Anything could happen at any moment. There's less than a day and a half left until the deadline comes, so anything could happen. I'm expecting the Knicks to do at least one trade, find a new place for Cam Reddish. That's at the bare minimum. And then who knows? There's been lots of discussions, but that is for another time. Right now, or we can talk about it later in this video. Right now, we're going to talk about the New York Knicks' very interesting win over the Orlando Magic. And I say interesting because interesting was the one word that I would never have used to describe this game for the first two quarters. This game was boring. The Knicks looked disinterested. They almost looked tight. They looked like they were thinking about the trade deadline. Like, was Obi sitting there thinking, is this my last game as a Knick? Was Cam thinking that? Well, I mean, for all we know, Deuce was thinking that. Fournier, all these guys. For all we know, RJ was thinking that. I know that his poison pill makes it difficult to trade him, but there's been so many rumors flying around, so much conjecture, and even Emmanuel Quickly, who knows? But at this moment, there's been no trades, but there has been some very interesting developments. Very interesting developments. So let's get to it. Here we go. The New York Knicks. Started off the wrong slide. Here we go. New York Knicks win 102-98. And let me tell you, 102, I thought we weren't going to break the century mark. After three quarters, the Knicks had only scored 66 points. In fact, here, check it out. So you see, this is the box score of the first three quarters. 66 points. The Knicks had shot 31.3% from the three-point line and 41% overall. It only put up 61 shot attempts. 34 rebounds, 14 dimes at that point, which, that's not that great, obviously. But nope, people weren't hitting. They were shooting 41%. But we did have 9 turnovers, which were a problem. Hartenstein was in foul trouble, which also limited his ability on its time on the floor. He played less than 9 minutes by the end of the third quarter. But the Knicks were able to make this game interesting by that point. And then the fourth quarter game came. And guess what happened? RJ Barrett woke up. Look at him. He was shooting 2 of 11 for the first three quarters. He'd only scored 7 points. He'd even missed 2 free throws. Same with Randle. I'd missed 2 free throws. I want you to look at the free throws. Look, the Knicks had only taken 10 free throws at that point and only hit 6. They missed 4. They were shooting 60% from the free throw line. This game was a disaster by all means, especially on the heels of that incredibly dramatic win that they just had. So I was a little worried. I was a little worried that maybe we were going to go into this trade deadline coming off a loss, and that the negative air, that the pressure of potentially getting traded or somebody new coming to the team and disrupting whatever they have right now, because they have a lot of camaraderie in that Knicks clubhouse. I think everyone was a little bit concerned about it, and it showed on the court. Look at this. We can just talk about RJ. His first came back after his non-COVID illness, which I did find out later that right before the game was supposed to start the other day, on Sunday, he ended up throwing up. So that's why he just stayed in the locker room and never came back. He may have come back. I'm not sure, but I think he just wasn't feeling well at all. Whether it was a stomach flu or what, it must have been a stomach flu, because same thing happened with Brunson. They only missed 1 game, so it's interesting. Considering I've been sick, and you look at me, you can still probably hear it in my voice. No one was really doing much. I mean, Randle was providing his regular scoring prowess, 17 points and 11 rebounds by the end of the third quarter. 15 points for Brunson, but only 3 assists for him. Randle had 6 assists. And even Emmanuel Quickly, he'd only had 1 dime then, 12 points. But before we get to that, let's get back to this, because I'm going to show you the fourth quarter stats, which are insane. All right, let me show you this. Right now, the Knicks are 30-26. They have won 30 games. Right now, and they're actually technically tied with the Heat for the 6th place. And, because we picked up that nice win against the Heat, I think we actually have the tiebreaker. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure 100%. But at this moment, let's just say that right now they're tied. So, and we've played 2 more games than the Heat. So that should level out at some point. But our winning percentage is .536 winning percentage. Last season, so right now the Knicks are on track to win 44 games. That's what they're on track to win, 44 games. 44 games last season, the Nets. The Nets ended up with 44 wins last season, and that was only good enough for 7th seed. And they still had to go into the play-in. Remember that. So right now, the Knicks need to figure out, if they stay in this course, this path, they need to figure out another way to pick up an extra win. Get that 45th win and maybe even 46 wins to solidify 6th place. I mean, there's only a few games. There's not that many games left. There's not that many games left. There's 26 games left in this season. Come on. Come on, Knicks. You guys can do it. Look what you've been doing lately. Look what you did tonight. You guys came. You shook off the malaise that you guys had, the fog that you were in, and completely own that 4th quarter. Even though it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So I should retract that. They didn't own that 4th quarter, but compared to the way they played in the first 3 quarters, they were dynamos. Let's get to highlights. As you can see, the game did not start off well. Nice pass there from Julius. Excellent cut by Sims. I want to see more of those. Those are easy buckets, man. That's easy feeding. I want to see that when Mitch comes back as well. The Knicks got off to a very poor start in this game, but were able to fight through it so that by the end of the first quarter, they were only down by, what were they down by? I think just 20. I think they were just down by 4. They were down by 4. It was 26-22 at the end of the first quarter. And then they got outplayed in that second quarter, 22-18. So the Knicks, it's crazy to think that these two teams had only scored 48 points. None of them had cracked 50 points by halftime. It was 48-40. 48-40 at the half. Wild. RJ Barrett, he made that bucket, but he was pretty hard on the eyes offensively, which it's not. I'm not surprised by it, but he's been struggling of late from the 3-point line, and there's been a lot of grumblings out there in the Twitter sphere about RJ. I'm getting the sense that there is a rising tide here where people are starting to think of maybe possibly moving on from RJ. In my opinion, I think it's way, way too early to be thinking in those terms. This is a kid that half of his career, he's averaged 20 points a game. Currently, he's averaging 20. He averaged 20 last season. And the first 2 seasons, the season before that, he averaged 17. I can't remember what he averaged in his rookie season, but does he have flaws in his game? Defensively, does he need to do a lot of work? Yes, absolutely. But the man makes buckets. The man his size is something that we need. He's like the one wing that we have on this team right now. And he actually makes big buckets in big times. We've seen it repeatedly. I actually mentioned it months ago, and I think I got laughed at. And you heard Clyde say it tonight. Look, and right there, there's an example. Actually, I think that was quickly. That wasn't RJ. As you can hear, that cough is still lingering. I love this play by Quick. This was excellent. So the Knicks in the third quarter, they woke up, and we went down into the final stretch of this game, down 3 only. 69-66. But look at that score. I thought there's no way we're going to break the century mark. And we did. The Knicks scored 36 points in that fourth quarter. And they held Orlando. And a big reason, there you go. There's RJ hitting that 3-point shot. One of the big reasons was RJ actually tightened up his defense on Franz Wagner and on Paolo. he actually had an excellent switch with Brunson to contest Paolo on a drive and forced him into a very bad shot. And then it was another time later in that quarter, I think it was even closer towards crunch time, where Paolo drove and RJ, I think it was an inbound pass to him and RJ popped it. No, it was Paolo drove, RJ tipped the ball out of his hands and it went to Brunson. So he was able to initiate the steal. So those were two big stops on Paolo. Maybe possibly RJ has to play only against ex-Dukies. Maybe that's the only way it can happen. Because he's actually played some decent defense against Tatum in the past as well. So, that was a big bucket there by Sims. Sims had a big game. Look at this. Look at him skying up. Oh, he had such hops tonight. Was really impressed, which is great because the previous game, Hartenstein was the man, and Sims was not. Sims actually hasn't had two games in a row that were not that great for him, but tonight was a very, very good game for him. In fact, I think this this wasn't the spot. There was a play there where Brunson found, actually it was RJ found Sims for an alley-oop. Brunson did too late in the game. Sorry. Let's see here. This is with 40 seconds left. Look at this. Brunson, look at this. Mr. Clutch. The clutch. Oh, that's the play. I was thinking. He handed it off to Sims. Beautiful. Broke down the defense. Gave it to the human pogo stick. This was a fantastic moment. And at that moment, I thought, yeah, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. It still took some clutch free throw shooting. Remember I showed you those free throws before? Took some clutch free throws by Brunson and Julius. Very clutch free throws. I think they hit 6 down the stretch. I am incredibly happy with this result, especially when considering what really could have come out of this game if the Knicks had lost in Orlando the way they had lost. It would have left a bad taste in our mouths, and it would have just been. It would have undone a bit of the goodness that happened on Sunday. So I am very, very excited about the situation that the Knicks are in. And before we move on, I want to show you something else here. Yeah, that win against the Sixers. I was just checking to see. Yeah. All right. All the games in the East are done. So this is the current record going into tomorrow for the East. The Knicks are tied for 6th place. Congrats to the Knicks. Now, I want to talk about something else. And I want to use this tweet by Shweeny Poo. Thibs nailed almost every major decision down the stretch of this game. Don't look now, but that's 3 straight well-played fourth quarters by the Knicks. Maybe they're figuring it out. And that's exactly the sentiment that I had. I think Thibs is actually finally learning from his mistakes. They fouled instead of allowing the Magic to pass the ball around and get a decent three-point look. They fouled him and kept putting him on the line, which is why the Knicks kept getting fouled and they kept going to the line. It became a free throw game towards the end. We didn't let them take a three-point look, unlike in the past. And this time, when I think it was Paolo Banchero? I can't remember who was taking the free throw at the end to not to tie the game, but to keep the game going. Randle, Sims, and who else was in there? It was Randle and Sims on the free throw, and they finally blocked out the shooter, and Randle made a rebound. That was so athletic and unbelievable. It looked like a catcher trying to catch a 100-mile-an-hour wild pitch. Just caught it with one hand. It was outstanding, and that sent him to the line. So that was a great play right there. Also, another thing that I saw was when the Magic were going to inbound the play with just seconds left, Thibs swapped out Brunson for Grimes. And then it worked. It totally worked. And then he subbed Brunson back in. We were able to get the stop, subbed Brunson back in. And he actually subbed him back in for Sims at that time. So then they went really small for that stretch. And that was because they inbounded the ball. And then Brunson got the pass. And he got fouled. And he went to the free throw line. So that strategy, that end game strategy that I've been complaining about, that Thibs has been lacking in, he has actually been doing very well as of late. And it's led to 2 big wins. It's led to 2 big wins right now. Not that the Magic are, obviously they're not, they're not world beaters. They're not the Sixers. But when you look at the Magic right now, they've won 22 games. I mean, I don't even know what did they win last season? 22 games? Did they even win 22 games last season? They're a tough team to beat. They've beaten. Let's see. These are teams they've beaten. They've beaten the Sixers themselves. They've beaten Boston. They've beaten Portland. They've beaten the Clippers. They've beaten the Bulls. They've beaten the Suns. They've beaten the Mavs, and they've beaten the Golden State Warriors twice. So they've beaten some good teams. They're young. They're long. Markelle Fultz, who was, unfortunately, he was smoking Brunson and IQ, whoever was on him, but towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, it was smoking Brunson. But it didn't matter because Brunson was getting him right back. He was cooking him right back. He even hit a big 3-pointer as well, Brunson did. So it's good to see I was happy to see Markelle Fultz doing well because that man has suffered from injuries and stuff, and he was a number 1 draft pick who was considered a big disappointment and a bust. The Sixers traded him away. He ended up with the Magic, but he's putting together a nice little rebound season this year, and he could still turn out to be a decent point guard in the NBA. So I'm rooting for him in that respect. Let's see what else happened in this game. Man, Paolo Banchero. Let's keep going. Let's keep going here. So you can see Randle, 14 rebounds for him. 14 big rebounds, 6 assists, 22 points, 4 of 10 from the 3-point line. He hit a big 3-point shot late in that fourth quarter. Everybody was connected in that fourth quarter. In fact, let's get to the fourth quarter. Here we go. Here's the fourth quarter. You can see Randle hit 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. And that one that he hit was a big one. RJ hit 2 of 3 from the 3-point line. 3 of 5 overall in that fourth quarter. He played almost the entire fourth quarter, delivered 8 points, and he played some good, solid defense when he needed to. And that's very important. Because the thing about guys like RJ, you want him to be a great defender. Because if he's a great defender, then he starts becoming, with the way he can score, then he starts becoming absolutely, a top 30 player in the NBA. That's what he would start becoming, because he's going to end up averaging 25 points a game at some point. There's no doubt in my mind. But the defense is what's kind of keeping him down, and he has a desire to be a great defender. He wants to be a great defender. Now, maybe that might be overshooting. How about you learn to be a good defender first? Right now, all you have to be is adequate. That's all you have to be. You don't have to be even necessarily good. You just can't be a traffic cone. You can't be a liability. You can't make mistakes. You can't let yourself get backdoored. You can't not close out hard on a shooter. You can't not take a charge. You've got to take a charge. Got to use that body. Use that chest. Take a hit. Body up the ball handler. You've got to start doing those things. You have to start analyzing the player. Well, I'm sure you do, but make it. Use it when you're on the court. Understand their tendencies. Well, you can see he did read the scouting report on Paolo and on Wagner. Even though Wagner, Franz did hurt him here and there, but not nearly as bad as I've seen him in the past at all. Just don't be a liability. That's really the next rung that we need you to reach. I would have loved for you to have made the leap to become a good defender this season. Well, let's take a step back. How about you just become adequate, not a liability? Because when you have a Brunson on the court, we can't have 2 guys that are liabilities out there together. And Grimes can only do so much, and without Mitch on the court to cover up people's mistakes, you can't put all the burden on Julius. And Julius is a good defender. Does he get disinterested sometimes? Yes, he does, but much less so this season, especially in the last, I would say, in the last 40 games. He has been a very good defender. So we just need you not to be a liability. Now look at this. Brunson was the high scorer in the fourth quarter with 10 points in 7.5 minutes. And he hit 4 or 5 from the free throw line, like it brought up there. What else here? What's the other thing? Oh, yeah, I wanted to show Sims. His 3 big buckets right there. 2 big rebounds for him. Knicks got 9 rebounds, 7 dimes in the fourth quarter. 7 dimes in the fourth quarter. That meant the ball kept moving. The ball kept moving, and it found the better shot. That's why we won. That's why we won on Sunday against the Sixers. That's how we're going to keep winning games. The team is starting to figure it out. Thibs has gotten the memo. He read the memo, and now he's implementing the memo. And here it is. He's even making adjustments. Look, Grimes only played 39 seconds in the fourth quarter, but they were the last 39 seconds. That's it. This is it. This is the cerebral part of the game. It's understanding the tools that you have and best using them, not just being a template coach. He is using a whole, well, I don't want to over dramatize it, but he's definitely adapting and adopting some new rotation techniques in the fourth quarter, and I'm very happy to see it. And I think he's also pushing them, because look how many three-point shots they took in the fourth quarter. 10. There's times where the Knicks take 2 in the fourth quarter, and a few of those were in the last 4 minutes. So, and that's what we need to keep doing. There are times where we just go away from it. And meanwhile, the other team is just hoisting up three-point shots, hitting them at whatever percentage, 38%, 40%, 42%, or whatever. And we're trying to like stay in this game, getting, with Brunson driving, Randle driving, RJ driving, getting twos, hoping to get an and one, but then not necessarily connecting. What Brunson does, he's like been automatic of late. But it's a game of math at that point. You put yourself in a position where it becomes very difficult to hold on to leads or even to chip away against someone else's lead if you're not staying within your game plan of continually trying to find good looks from the three-point line. And the Knicks did that today. They hit 50% from the three-point line in the fourth quarter. 5 of 10. 12 of 19 overall. So that means they hit 7 of 9 from inside the arc. Beautiful. 36 points. They scored more than half of the points they had scored the entire game. They scored it all in the final 15 minutes of this game. Excellent. All right, let's keep moving forward. So, one thing. So you see the bench. The bench, unlike the bench in the Sixers game, which were a huge difference, and one of the major reasons why the Knicks won, which mostly Deuce and Hartenstein were awesome. Even Obi delivered some positive results in the last game. This game, not so much. Look, you can see they combined for 1 of 9 between the three of them, but they had Emmanuel quickly out there. My son, Emmanuel, 32 points, 7 of 15, 4 of 9 from the three-point line. Big buckets, man. 3 rebounds, 4 dimes, 18 points off the bench. Love it. Emmanuel quickly is, right now, he has to be in the running for best 6th man of the year. He has to be in consideration. Absolutely. Must be. The plus minus is an interesting story here because you can see Brunson's a plus 13 and Randle's a plus 9. Sims ended up a plus 1. RJ was a minus 9. Grimes was a plus 3. And top of the bench were all minus except for, no, actually, that's not true. Hartenstein was a plus 6, but look at the 5 fouls. He just was fouling constantly. So it's interesting that the Knicks were able to pull this game out. This really looked like the type of game where they were just going to call it in at some point, especially in that second quarter at one point there. They just did not look like they had the heart to really commit to winning this game, but all of that turned itself around in that second half. Shout out to them. Big shout out to them. The Magic, you can see only Fultz broke the 20-point mark. He hit 9 of 12. He was cooking the guards for sure. But he was cooking the guards, but not from behind the arc. So that's why you still can hang in games. If he was a Kyrie, who was killing you on drives and, shooting 4 of 8 from the three-point line or 4 of 7, then we would have been done. We wouldn't have won this game. But because they're not a good three-point shooting team, we were able to pull this game out, luckily. But Fultz, if his three-point shot returns, he can really turn it into something deadly. Franz Wagner, again, 7 of 12, very productive, but only 1 of 4 from the three-point line. I'll take that. Now, that means he hit 6 of 8 from inside the arc. So he was definitely hurting RJ and Grimes when he was on him. But they limited his impact by keeping the ball out of his hands a lot. He only took 12 shots. So that's another aspect of defense, of good defense, is keeping the ball away from the guy. Just don't let him catch it. Paolo Banchero, he actually got off to a decent start, but faded. Ended up 6 of 15, missed all 3 of his three-point shots, only 8 rebounds, but he picked up 5 dimes for him, 16 points. Let's see. France's brother, Mo, he hurt us for a stretch there. There was a stretch there, big three-point shot. He had 2 three-point shots. I think they're almost back-to-back, where Hartenstein, again, he didn't close out on a three-point line, and he just let Mo take it. That's where he was. Bol, no impact tonight. 14 minutes, only put up 1 field goal. Carmelo Anthony, not Carmelo Anthony, sorry. Anthony finished with 9 points, 3 of 7, 1 of 2. Interesting that I'm wondering what the Magic are going to end up doing with all those guards. And Suggs has also been struggling. Really surprised that he's struggling that much. Would have thought by now that he would have gotten over his injuries and be contributing more consistently. But the Magic have been playing, they've been playing decent as this season in general, even though they're in the bottom, but 22 wins for a team like this, it's not anything to, turn your nose at. And they've gotten some quality wins, as I just told you. They've gotten wins over 8 quality teams. So that just goes to show you. The team stats, one thing I wanted to look at was the rebounding. Yeah, see, the rebounding, only 43 to 41. Interesting. Free throws, 60. We ended up with 68.4%, but those free throws in the fourth quarter were magical. 21 assists, only 21 dimes for the Knicks. That's rough. 6 steals, though. Take that. 11 turnovers for both teams. We won that battle with a +2 in points. We scored 13 points off of them. They scored 11. Fast break points. Not that much fast break action in this game. Points in the paint. That's where they hurt us, but we hurt them in the 3-point line. We connected on 15 3-pointers. They only connected on 6. So right there, that's 45 to 18. Damn. That's a 27-point plus margin right there. Plus 27. That's how we were able to come and take over that game. Sweet. Right? Is that right? Yeah. Yes. All right. What else? Anything left here? No. That's pretty much it. So now, the trade deadline. What are the Knicks really going to do? Well, like I mentioned in the opening, I really think that the bare minimum will be finding a new home for Cam. Could the Knicks get lucky and somehow manage to get OG and Anunoby at the right price without giving up any key players of this core and not that many hardly any, and no unprotected draft picks? If it's just protected draft picks and additional pieces like a Cam, like a Fournier, like Rose, like guys who aren't necessarily in the rotation currently. If the Knicks can pull something like that off, do it. I would love that. But I said before, I wouldn't like to see I don't want to see Obi Toppin go in that trade. I think that's not the right place to send him. Obi, as he'll get a time to show off his skills. He needs to get more upper body strength. That is for sure. He's still a bit too soft. Definitely got burned a few times. But I've seen him other times where he's definitely been very impactful. So we need to get back to that because we'd be selling low on Obi. I don't want to sell low on Obi. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit the thumbs up button and drop your comments if you want to hear your thoughts. And stay tuned for any trade videos. Anything that happens, any rumors that pop up, I will be jumping on. All right. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.